Got the very latest details behind Karl Anderson's deal with New Japan Pro Wrestling that WWE have made for him to appear at Wrestle Kingdom 17. But did AEW know that their partner New Japan had made this deal with WWE? Kevin Owens suffered an eye injury on SmackDown. Got the very latest details on that. Lacey Evans was scheduled for a vignette on that show, but it was pulled at the last minute. We have the reason why. Shinsuke Nakamura has the pro wrestling world talking after his match against the Great Muta at Pro Wrestling Noah. But could the former New Japan star appear at Wrestle Kingdom 17 this week? We've also got an update on Mandy Rose, as she is now officially a millionaire in her post-WWE career, and we've got the tickets updates for NXT Vengeance Day. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. So let's start off talking about Karl Anderson, WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Wrestle Kingdom 17. Of course, it's Wrestle Kingdom 17 week, so there's a lot going on in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling, and one such person appearing at the Tokyo Dome on Wednesday is current WWE superstar and New Japan Pro Wrestling title holder, that being the never openweight champion, the Machine Gun, Karl Anderson. So how did this all come together? Well, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select has provided some more details, some background details as to how this deal came together between WWE and New Japan, and if AEW had any prior knowledge of it. Fightful Select is reporting that they have learned more about the New Japan WWE Karl Anderson dynamic. Ahead of Wrestle Kingdom on New Japan World, Rocky Romero told Fightful that the whole WWE New Japan Karl Anderson situation was shaky and stressful the whole way through. He confirmed that Karl Anderson truly believed and planned the entire way to work Wrestle Kingdom from the point that he signed with WWE. That was always his intention. Now, intentions are one thing, how it actually plans out in reality is another. Now, he was very thankful for WWE to let it happen and believe everyone, all of their intentions were good. Romero said that as of now, he hasn't learned anything or learned of anything that WWE has asked for in return for Anderson being allowed to work Wrestle Kingdom inside the Tokyo Dome. However, he said considering the nature of the situation, he said maybe WWE will end up asking for something, but he hasn't said what that something could be. We don't know. WWE traditionally doesn't do like we want Kazuchika Okada for one match, because the old school mindset of Vince McMahon was, well, we'd have to explain him to our audience. A lot of our audience won't know him, so we don't just want Kazuchika Okada for one match. But if there are names in New Japan that they do want for one match, who that could be, I don't know, then maybe they could ask for something in return. We'll have to wait and see. He also said he believes if WWE ever wanted to honor Antonio Inoki, who of course passed away last year, that New Japan would likely oblige. When asked if WWE would continue working with New Japan Pro Wrestling, he said anything is possible, but AEW has been a great partner. Of course, AEW being their partner, their sort of biggest international partner in the United States. They also have agreements with the likes of Impact Wrestling as well, but certainly AEW is their biggest international partner in the USA. Now, they did ask also about Sasha Banks. He would neither confirm or deny. We're going to do a bit more of a deeper dive into that later today in today's AEW / New Japan / other, not WWE news video. So we'll talk about that later on today. Be sure to check that out. But when it comes to AEW and if they knew about this deal, by all accounts the answer is yes. Now, as I mentioned, it was reported previously about New Japan and WWE working together to get Karl Anderson on Wrestle Kingdom 17, but now Fightful have learned some more about AEW's knowledge of the situation. Rocky Romero, in that same interview with Fightful, told Fightful that he speaks with Tony Khan quite frequently and filled in Khan about what was going on with WWE and New Japan, and said Khan isn't shy about asking either. He said that Tony Khan understood why it was happening and was cool about it. And again, when you say why it was happening, it's because this situation, it's really important to understand the timeline of events here. Karl Anderson, when he and Luke Gallows, signed on the dotted line with WWE, they didn't have a contract anywhere. Their contracts with Impact Wrestling had finished up, and they were working dates initially with Impact before they wrapped things up there, and with New Japan on a per date basis, and they had provisionally agreed verbally to do these New Japan dates in Japan, particularly Wrestle Kingdom in January. They had agreed that verbally, but they hadn't put pen to paper. So that allowed them to put pen to paper with WWE. Now, when they put pen to paper and they signed their contracts with the company, they did openly say, well, look, I've got a championship. I'm the never open weight champion at the moment. And I said to New Japan I'd be at Wrestle Kingdom. It's their biggest show of the year. It's their WrestleMania. It's inside the Tokyo Dome. It's a big show. I said I'm going to be there. Can we work out a way that I can be there? That, I think ultimately, look, if WWE had said no, Karl Anderson would have still signed with WWE, I think. He wouldn't have said, well, it's off the table, then I'm going to stay with New Japan. He would have gone to WWE anyway. But this is a different regime. It's a different time, and Triple H, I'm not going to say that WWE is more open to working with other promotions, because I don't think they necessarily are. But in instances like this, where WWE might have really put their foot down in the past, they're a bit softer. I mean, Karrion Kross was still booked for quite a few independent shows. I think MLW and the NWA as well. And when he signed with WWE, he didn't do any of them. So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of situation. It really is a case-by-case basis. For the case of Shinsuke Nakamura, they wanted to pay respect to a Japanese legend in the Great Muta. The previous regime said no. The new regime said yes. For Karl Anderson, it was a case of, I want to be a man of my word and be a good professional and keep my bookings that I had verbally agreed to. Now, of course, Kenny Omega is finally returning to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Romero said that he believes Omega forecast his return to New Japan before it was even a done deal. With him being sidelined from Forbidden Door, Omega did an interview with Fightful and started pushing an angle with Will Ospreay. Romero says he didn't think the deal was in place at the time for Omega to return, and he was thinking ahead, but the conversation had happened. Romero also said that the brawl-out suspension caused a pause because nobody knew what was going to happen. He said that New Japan worked with Barry Bloom to make this happen, as well as the Chris Jericho deal when he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. In addition, as I mentioned, to New Japan having this relationship with AEW, and it's not a relationship with WWE, it's just an instance of them just basically just WWE allowing their talent to work the show. They also do have deals with the likes of Impact Wrestling as well, and Rocky Romero put over Scott D'Amore heavily for helping bridge the gap between New Japan and Impact after years as well, and he said that access will be a big part of New Japan going forward. I know that kind of verges off into New Japan, AEW, and Impact news, but I think it's all encompassing when it comes to this Karl Anderson situation. And look, I'm excited to see Anderson at Wrestle Kingdom. He's going to lose. He's going to lose the championship to Rocky Romero. No doubt about that. I mean, they could try and do this big swerve, I suppose, where Karl Anderson retains and he's doing one more appearance, because everyone is going into that assuming that it's going to be Karl Anderson's final appearance with New Japan Pro Wrestling. Who knows, maybe ever. He might end his career in WWE. I think that's unlikely, but certainly for a long time. But if Karl Anderson wins, that would suggest that there is certainly more to this relationship between New Japan Pro Wrestling and WWE, but I just don't think there's a relationship there. I think they've got too much of a good thing going, New Japan with AEW and Impact, that I don't think they'd want to jeopardize that, because let's face it, if WWE got into a working relationship with New Japan, which is not out of the realm of possibility, if they got into a working relationship with them, they would say, okay, that's fine, you can't be in a working relationship with AEW or Impact Wrestling. I mean, WWE might be more willing to play ball than they had been previously, now that Vince McMahon's out of the picture, but let's not go crazy here. They still are the number one company in the world, they still have the biggest market share, and they still have the most power and leverage and money. So they could get in a working relationship with New Japan, but it might mean the end of the working relationship between New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling. And I don't suspect that will happen. But I'm certainly really looking forward to the show. There is going to be coverage of it here on the channel. I think we're going to do a post show. We're going to be dropping some videos of some big news stories as well. Most likely Sasha Banks' debut, Karl Anderson's appearance, the main event, of course, Jay White versus Kazuchika Okada. And Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay. It's a really jam-packed show. So we're going to have a lot of coverage of that on Wednesday for Wrestle Kingdom 17. So be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You won't miss a single thing. Kevin Owens sported an eye injury on SmackDown, leading to some people being a bit concerned about him. Luckily, he's fine, though. Now, Kevin Owens suffered a nasty bruised eye during the tag team main event on SmackDown on December 30th. Owens reportedly required stitches following the match. In the final episode of SmackDown for 2022, John Cena made his long-awaited return and teamed up with Kevin Owens in the main event to face Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn. However, KO was injured during the match, possibly as a result of a botched clothesline from Reigns, or certainly it kind of looked like when Roman Reigns was breaking up a pinfall, he might have stuck he might have been a bit stiff maybe, something like that, which has led to some people speculating that could be a bit of a receipt by Roman Reigns. Now, the injury might have served as a reminder to Owens of what happened in the War Games match at Survivor Series 2022. In said War Games match, Roman Reigns was slapped by Kevin Owens, which enraged the tribal chief, who claimed it was an unscripted moment and that KO had taken matters into his own hands. Reigns even suggested, and I think it was later reported, that he had suffered a ruptured eardrum because of the slap, which again was not planned. According to Fightful Select, the former NXT champion suffered a nasty bruised eye during the main event of SmackDown. He reportedly required stitches after his tag team match, but he's said to be doing well. He's fine. He's not going to miss any ring time or anything like that. So, I don't know. Could it have been a receipt? I think the answer is absolutely. It could have been a receipt. Roman Reigns, by all accounts, was legitimately pissed. He was not happy with what happened at Survivor Series. Again, if you go watch it back, it's in the closing stages of the match, they get into sort of slapping sort of situation, and Kevin Owens absolutely whacks Roman Reigns in the side of the head. And by all accounts, according to reports, once the match was done, they got into Gorilla, and there was a backstage shouting match between KO and Roman Reigns. Reigns felt that KO had gone into business for himself, and I guess, being close to Royal Rumble, WrestleMania season, and with big matches on the horizon, Roman Reigns felt like Kevin Owens could have been reckless or been doing something dangerous or jeopardizing the company and himself money. And by all accounts, it was fine. It was smoothed over. There still might be a bit of lingering heat between the two, but they're still going to be professional. It's still going to be Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble. It's still going to be Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. But make no mistake, if you do the slap and you rupture someone's eardrum, you have to know a receipt is coming. And I remember some stories from The Undertaker. I think he was saying that he was feuding with Randy Orton during their big feud in sort of 2005. And there was an episode of SmackDown where Randy Orton has to hit The Undertaker with a steel chair. And the way he hits him, it scrapes down his face. And he just takes like a layer of skin off down his face. And The Undertaker's bleeding, absolutely gushing with blood. And when that happened, The Undertaker said to Randy Orton backstage, a receipt is coming. Didn't say when, didn't say where. And he waited all the way until December at Armageddon for the Hell in the Cell match. He had a steel chair shot and bang! He absolutely nailed him. And now, knowing what we know today, terrible, by the way, but he said, there's your receipt. And it's the case of Roman Reigns. It's exactly the same. He got a ruptured eardrum. Kevin Owens slapped him hard up the side of the face, and he thought, right, I know I'm going to be working this guy soon in the future, whether it's just at the Rumble or whether it's going to happen, a tag team match happens or something like that, I'm going to give a receipt. And remember, it's not as if Roman Reigns can give that receipt on a live event or something like that because he doesn't work live events. Roman Reigns rarely wrestles now. This was his first SmackDown match since July. He only wrestles pay-per-views and the very, very, very rare TV match. So he had to wait his time. He had to bide his time. And he was out of action for an injury anyway, and he doesn't work live events. So this was his first match back since Survivor Series. And it just so happened that he was in the ring with Kevin Owens once again. And I wouldn't be shocked if it was a receipt. At the same time, it looks nasty. I don't know if that's worth... But look, if Roman Reigns had a ruptured eardrum, maybe he thinks that's exactly the same. I don't know. You let me know your thoughts. Comment section below. Was it a receipt? Wasn't it a receipt? What do you think's going on there? Lacey Evans. Wow, what a controversial name in recent weeks. Now, the final episode of SmackDown for 2022 was a very noteworthy one, of course, but it did not feature Lacey Evans, despite the fact that WWE has recently been running vignettes for her impending return. However, she was originally planned to be involved in the show, according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. There was going to be another vignette on the show as of Friday evening. Now, it's unknown why the vignette did not feature on the show. Most likely, it's due to time constraints on the night. The show was a notable one for the women's division. Charlotte Flair made her return to the ring, defeating Ronda Rousey to become the new SmackDown Women's Champion, adding further depth to the roster, with Evans' return likely right around the corner. WWE has been tapping into Evans' legitimate background with the military, as she was previously a Marine. Her recent vignettes have seen her training with the military, as she is going back to basics ahead of her return to the company. But it's unknown when this return is going to be happening. However, considering the fact a new vignette was going to be shown this week, it likely means there is at least one more tape in the vault to be used in the future. But again, it's leading to some people speculating it could be somewhat of a situation related to our recent controversial social media comments. I'm not going to get involved in them too much, but I think they were insensitive, to say the least. And in a day and age where there's so much misinformation put out there, when you're a person of interest, or you're a person with a large following, you have to be really careful what you put out there. And I didn't think it was right for her to put out there and say what she did. And then she put up a tweet doubling down, which she later deleted. And justifiably so, and rightly so, in my opinion. So I don't know if that was related to that. I don't know. But it would appear there are still plans for WWE. So we'll see if a vignette airs this coming Friday on SmackDown. Shinsuke Nakamura, he has the wrestling world talking, and rightfully so. His match against the Great Muta was awesome at Pro Wrestling Noah yesterday on New Year's Day. It was one of the Muta's final matches, his final singles match actually before he retires. His final match is actually going to be against Sting. He's going to be, against Sting, teaming up rather with Sting and Darby Allin in a 6-person tag team match. He's also going to be wrestling his final New Japan Pro Wrestling match at Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome on Wednesday as well. But it's led to a lot of people speculating, okay, Nakamura, you're in Japan anyway. You just worked Pro Wrestling Noah. Wrestle Kingdom's on Wednesday. WWE and New Japan, they're on good terms. That's why Karl Anderson's appearing at the show. Is there any chance we could see the former IWGP Intercontinental Champion appear at the show? Well, according to Nakamura, New Japan has not contacted former Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura about attending Wrestle Kingdom 17. As I mentioned at Pro Wrestling Noah's New Year event, Shinsuke Nakamura defeated the Great Muta. The two Japanese legends met in a thrilling match at Budokan Hall. The WWE superstar kicked out of Muta's Shining Wizard at the end of the bout. Later, the King of Strong Style followed Muta's lead and misted the veteran wrestler halfway through the match. This resulted in a brutal Kinshasa, with Nakamura securing one of his career's most significant victories. At a post-match press conference, the 42-year-old was asked if he would attend the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 17 event whilst in Japan. In his statement, Nakamura stated that unfortunately, he has not been approached about it and is not planning to attend, saying, quote, "No, I do not plan to attend. I haven't been approached about it, unfortunately." And he laughed when he said that as well. So look, I mean, it would be a massive story, certainly. And again, it's not out of the realm of possibility. He's there, and the new regime have said they're open to it. My biggest takeaway from Shinsuke Nakamura in the last 24 hours is it was just a reminder, oh yeah, this guy's a massive star. This guy is a superstar, and he's just been beaten down with bad booking, with bad characters over the last however many years. I mean, when he came to WWE, 2016 to 2017, he was treated like a superstar in NXT. The presentation was he was a superstar. And like everything that WWE did and did under the Vince McMahon regime, certainly, was, are they over in NXT? Right, get him up to the main roster, change a lot about him. Let's change everything. Now, look, he got called up to the main roster, and for the good part of a year, he did get pushed. That is absolutely fair. He got pushed for 12 months. He won the Royal Rumble, wrestled AJ Styles at WrestleMania, and then they had a decision to make. Do we put the title on him, or do we turn him heel, having doing low blows and then saying, sorry, no speak English? That's what they did. And after that, a decision was made clearly by Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard and those in charge. Oh, he can speak English, but he's a bit difficult to understand, so screw it. He can only be Intercontinental Champion. We'll make him 1,000,000 times Intercontinental Champion, 1,000,000 times US Champion, and they just removed the personality from him. That's what Nakamura is. He's personality. His entrance, he's grand, he's flamboyant, he's sort of Michael Jackson mixed with Freddie Mercury. That's the presentation. And when you saw him make that entrance for Pro Wrestling Noah yesterday, and he's wearing the white robe, and they've got the guy there playing the violin, the same guy that did it in WWE, and he felt like a star again. And it was a reminder, oh yeah, that's what Shinsuke Nakamura is. That's what he can be. And I saw he tweeted today simply stating the word happy. Because I think he just got that feeling again. You know, and I don't know what it means for his future. I know he's very happy in the USA. His family's there. He's got young children. So I don't know what his future is. But that should serve as a reminder. And if WWE was wise, they would get that footage from Pro Wrestling Noah, that entrance, that match, play it on SmackDown or whatever, and say, or don't even have Nakamura on television. Don't have him on TV for like 3 or 4 weeks building up to the Rumble. Play that and say, this guy's coming back. He went back to Japan to find himself. This guy's coming back, and start again. Because it's not too late. But we'll wait and see what happens. Mandy Rose is a millionaire. Not really surprisingly, but she's a millionaire. She took to, Fan Time took to Instagram to announce that Rose made $1 million on the platform in the month of December alone. The announcement came less than 2 weeks after Rose's agent stated that she had already made $500,000 following her WWE release. Of course, she was released by WWE on December 14 due to content that was posted on her fan time page. The release came the day after Rose lost the NXT Women's Championship to Roxanne Perez on the December 12 edition of NXT. So she's doing fine. In an update, if you're wondering about Mandy Rose, how she's doing fine. She's just made $1 million. And I doubt she was making that much in WWE, possibly a lot less, and there is no expenses involved in that. So I think Mandy Rose is doing just fine. Finally, an update on NXT Vengeance Day, the ticket sales for that. WWE, of course, will hold its NXT Vengeance Day event from the Chase Center, from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina on February 4th. WrestleTix noted the show has sold 2,972 tickets, and there was 1,593 left. It's set up for 4,565 seats. The last NXT special was deadline in December. As to how much they'll probably sell, I mean, they've got about a month, so you would probably say, I reckon they'll probably get like 3,500 tickets, something like that. There might be about 1,000 likes, or maybe they'll get close to 4,000 if that's the case. I mean, that's not bad going so far. Still a way to go. They probably will load up the show with a couple of main roster stars, I would think. Obviously, the New Day are going to be involved in it, possibly a couple of other ones. So they're going to load up that show, and I think they'll probably sell a fair amount of tickets for that. But there you go, guys. That's the latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts on today's WWE news stories in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.